Oh shit, here we go again.
Low, low, man. Low, low,
You like contracts, right? You're a contract guy.
I read contracts instead of conventional pornography, yes.
Nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
What is up, everybody? It's your boy Andrew Esquire, and welcome to Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. Welcome to the morning mindset, the scuff mindset. Oh boy, we started early today, but what was really early was the scuff, as I completely botched a fast fax that I recorded at 3 a.m. Bangkok time, because I thought, hey, listen, I've got a little pep in my step. I got a little energy. There's some news. I want to sleep in tomorrow because this is, of course, my birthday weekend. I'm going to have a really big birthday party tonight, and then we're going to do our birthday stream tomorrow. So like I'm doing some of the IRL stuff tonight. Tomorrow, we're going to have, the birthday stream, which may be the hangover recovery stream. We'll see what happens there. But, I always come through for you guys. If I fail, if I scuff, I come back stronger. The scuff only makes me stronger. It only powers me up. So much for recording stuff in the morning and then going to bed. That's not going to happen at all. The stream is muted again. The stream is muted. Yeah, no. You're not going to get me this time. You're not going to get me this time. But thank you guys so much. Hey, listen, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. It wouldn't be a stream without the chat calling me out for my fails. It wouldn't be the stream without a chat calling me out for the fails. Also, there's 327, 330 votes. Actually, it's going up right now. Up in the poll. What we should do first. And everyone wants to 69 Frogan. And by I mean 69, I mean 69% of people in the chat voted for us doing Frogan first before Denims. So we're just going to have to go with the 69 of Frogan and have to pass on Denims. So that's the chat. The chat clearly it prefers the Frogan 69 over the remainder for Denims. So we're going to go for that. Make sure you smash the like button and make sure you guys are locked in for this one. What phrasing? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I am very CISO here, guys. I'm very clean. Felzu for 10 says, scuff for the scuff god. I can fix Frogie. Why are so many people? This is very concerning for me. Why are so many people thinking they can fix Frogan? Why are so many people thinking they can fix Frogan? Does she have that? Does she have a trainable look? I don't know. Frogan is Temu. She's foodie beauty if you took like Sala and Foodie and merged them, right? So like that would, I guess, be like Foodie, right? Andrew Scuff Squire. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I'm gonna accept that. Chronicling Mayhem say, yay, caught you live. Greetings for Peru. Hey, shout out. Hail the 199. Shout out to everybody around the world. Peru's a lovely country. I was there, 15 years ago, and it was absolutely beautiful and kind people, very kind people. Irham Amin says, midday weekend lunchtime stream. What is this? I know. I almost never do morning streams because it's a little late for the US and some people are going to bed. And for us here in Asia, it's lunchtime. And I almost always go to lunch. And my best friend, he's one of my two best friends here. He's leaving me. He's abandoning me to go back to the mines, to literally crafting in the mines in frickin' Canada. But he's going to make bank. He'll be back in like 5 years or so. But I am going to miss him so much. And we're going to go to a late lunch after this stream. I had to put it off with him. But it's really hard for me when you have a really good friend and they leave. But yeah, lunchtime, I normally don't do streams. But I made an exception because of the scuff. Magza Poppin says, thanks for giving us a little more audio this time around. Scuff. Artemis says, boomer Twitter's gonna boom. It's booming time. Man, don't call me boomer because I really feel old because it's my birthday. I got one more year to 40, so I'm just barely holding on here. Zorro says he's very siso. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. It's only you guys. It's only you guys in the chat that read into what I say in a bad way, and it's really because you guys are
degenerates. You guys degenerates.
Very degenerate. The chat is very degenerate. Lilibel says the words of Tectone. Gosh, she's so handsome. I look like shit today because I just literally woke up. I combed my hair, which was struggling with me, splashed some water on my face, threw my suit on, and took a water, and got right into it. Not even coffee, right? Not even coffee. I'm glad you got your voice back. I really don't. I really do not. My voice is still kind of cracking up, and I might be coughing a little bit, but I'm all right. I feel good. The scuff powers me up. So let's start with Frogy, since you guys wanted to, since once again the 69 was completely with Frogan. So let's just go ahead and start with Frogy. Of course, I've got my PP. Now it's the same PP, but I'm going to do it differently and do it kind of special for you guys. So, this is a very special PP because it's live. Also, Kathy says, happy birthday, Scuffy, from your homestead, friend. Hey, shout out to people in Florida. I had somebody send me a beautiful picture from Versailles, the famous Cuban restaurant in Miami, as well as from Hobie Beach. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful places. Enjoy Florida. I do miss it. I miss my family. I miss my friends, and I miss the food. The food is so good, especially the Cuban food. Ozian for 5 says, 5 Oz says, Frogan's image was so large, she didn't have space for audio. You might say she ate up all the audio. That's right. The other Paul for 10 Oz says, when I first saw Frogan, I thought, whoa, they make Goombas a real thing? Serious question. Would you agree that Ethan ought not to settle, even if he can, so that he can get another good precedent? Well, let's play the clip. You know what, other Paul? You made me drop my PP, put it away. Let's get the clip. Is he going to settle? Right? Here's his quote. And this was literally on his stream today. Okay, let's listen to this. Talking about whether or not he will settle. Once again, great super chat. I love ones that kind of segue me in here.
Big news coming out of the H3 lawsuits, because today we got granted some great news on the legal front here, and the haters, the snarkers, they are all in shambles. They should be crying. They should be pissing. They should be in fear. It's time to, again, I offered clemency.
Clementine.
I think now that I called out Ethan on his words, because I call him on amendable instead of amendable, and I know that there were some people in the chat that were arguing they're both right. Whatever. No, I'm right. It's my show. I'm right. I define words here. I'm the mindset now. Now he's like thinking about words because he's been called out, and also I called out Hassan on not knowing what vexatious litigant is. So yeah, he's thinking. Good. Thinking is good.
No, Clementine. Darling. No,
he's right.
It's clemency.
Apple. Clemency.
Yeah.
So I'm saying again, I've had this offer. Now, this is basically when these subpoenas go out and I get that personal info, there's no more clemency. The presidential pardon, which I'm offering right now, is become closed. So time to get on it. Big news coming out of the.
Oh, that's the big one there. So I gave Frogy Yogi. We did this live. I said, Frogy, do the celebrity boxing. I'm not joking. Like your clock is running down here, Frogy. Do it. Go out there, because the time here is running out for when he's gonna be willing to, make settlement agreements or willing to come to agreement. So the door is closing. So do it now. What are you doing right now? You're literally sitting there like, what are you doing? Like, stuffing down Papa John's? Like, no. Are you using those legal funds for, I don't know, like Oreos? Like, what the hell? Like, what's going on here? So you've got to actually push for the settlement pretty aggressively and try to do that immediately. And I think that is honestly the best thing they could do. And the fact that their lawyers aren't doing that or even attempting to do that is not good at all. So I do think they should push now for trying to enter some sort of settlement. Once again, it doesn't have to be celebrity boxing, but I do think that would be really fun. I think it would be really fun. I really want that. And I'm serious. But In this case, once he gets the mods, there's really not a lot of extra information they can offer. So if you just offered up, that information, or also offered up the communications, etc., like just, okay, here, we're going to make a voluntary disclosure. There could be ways to get out of this or mitigate this or come to some sort of settlement quicker, right? Quicker. And getting out of this is going to be the best thing because, as I've said, there is not a single legal defense that Frogan, Casey Tron, or Denims, or the mods seem to be able to raise to the copyright infringement, right? It's not going to be something where they're going to have some great, robust defense, right? Now, they do have a chance to win. Of course, you always have a chance, but it doesn't look good. Chances don't look good. Euroclagain says, a PP with audio. What is this? I know. Mixelden says, since Ethan will take money that Denims made on the OnlyFans, he's a pimp. He's taking money that someone made doing Shrek work. Klein's pimp hand is strong. That's one way of interpreting that. That is one way of interpreting that. Maxapapa says, happy birthday, you young scuff. Keep kicking butt out there and stay hydrated. I will. I need the water today. So excuse me, guys, as I take the water breaks. And it's both in retrospect and in preparation. It's going to be a long weekend for me. Amanda Main says, herbally infused, absolutely bemused. Now time you amused. Without thinking, I went deaf. Yo, he's not wearing pants. I will neither confirm nor deny. Juan Ocampo for $4.99 says, as the Kino Casino clips on YouTube says, suffer Denims, suffer Bish, long live legal mindset, the best lawyer on the platform. Thank you, Andrew. That was my, of course, Rage Pig voice there. Hope you enjoyed that one. And shout out to the casino. Digital Lee says, Andrew whips out his PP. YouTube mods. He can't keep getting away with this. The YouTube mods allowed more swearing in the first couple seconds of the video, because it used to be if you swore at all, you get in trouble. So it only makes sense. It only makes sense that YouTube is now allowing for more PP. And they're really telling me we want more PP. And I am not going to deny them the PP. If they're begging for the PP, we're going to give them the PP. So here it is. Let me whip it back out. So everyone's happy. The PP. Frogan giving up. This is making up for the other video. The other video was removed. I may re-record it, maybe later if I feel like it, but we'll see. It also may just be clipped by my big clipper, my awesome clipper, Eagle, because Eagle is amazing. Bob for 5 says, it's so funny. Hank and Ramsey support each other better than Hassan and his orbiters. I know. Well, they also support each other in personal ways. By the way, guys want a Somali spoiler? Chat, do you want a Somali spoiler? Yes or no, chat? I've got a Somali spoiler. Do you guys want a Somali spoiler? This is actually really big. I can tell you now. Only if you're interested in Somali stuff. If you're not, if there's no in the chat, I'm not going to tell you. Okay. Yes. Give spoil. One person said no spoilers. Okay. Two people said no spoilers. Okay. No spoilers, people. Mute the video like I muted my Frogan thing. So no spoilers, people. 30 seconds. Mute the video starting now. I have received information that somebody did an interview of Hank Yu that will be released next week. And there were questions that were asked, which were actually my questions that were given to ask Hank. And it is apparently a doozy. And this is all leading up to the trial of Ramsey Khalid Ismail on August 13th, 2025. This is going to be good. We're going to have a great lead up to that trial. So stay in there. That's the spoiler. Hank interview coming. It's going to be huge. But shh. Let's just stay calm. And let's talk about Frogie. Let's focus on Queen Frogie, right? Let's not forget about Queen Frogie. Okay? Frogie gets mad when we don't pay attention to her. She gets mad. She gets mad. She gets mad when her blood sugar level is lower than the sugar level in Pixie Sticks. And she gets mad when we don't pay attention to her. Okay. So we gotta pay attention to Frogie. Okay. So let's go back here. Oh, here we go. Also, A Jungle Scoop 99 says, long time watcher your streams, usually after they're done, but thank you for the legal analysis you do, breaking down like you do. My pleasure, dude. My pleasure. I enjoy entertaining and educating. Also, Batrato says, Nux in the stream asked, what are you on with the PowerPoint? You need to help him. I will ask him if he wants to get on my PP. I will help him ride the PP. He just needs to ask me. I think me, Tectone, him, and WestJet are going to have a podcast soon. So I will. Maybe I'll help Tectone and everybody with the PP. Maybe Nux and Tectone can finally understand how to handle a real girthy PP like mine. So let's talk about this. Frogan is literally about to default early next week. What has she done with the 50K she raised? We have not heard from her or her attorney at all. She has like 5 days to respond to our complaint or she loses by default. And this was last night. So it's probably down to 4 days. Someone said you should check your spelling. Some of the charm is I misspell stuff. And I love when my chat tells me I misspell stuff. So yes. I'm going to continue to misspell stuff. That's the fun part. And you guys can find the spelling mistakes. That's your job as chat. That's your job as chat. Keeps you entertained. Keeps you on your feet. Guyana Defense Force says, go have a singha, bud. Thank you so much for the Thai bot, Kopon Kap. Rick says, happy birthday, base lawman. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. That's really kind of you. All right. So after this came from Ethan. So this is from Ethan, right? This was the Snarkers. And this is one of the most legally inaccurate takes. That's one of the most legally inaccurate takes ever. By the way, someone said, how much are you paying us to spell check? You do it for the glory of the of the Soviet mindset. Didn't you get the Dear Leader episode? Did you not get that we're canceling Tectone? You are doing this for the glory of the Soviet mindset, okay? You guys need to go back there and watch that one. It's totally serious video. All right. Also, Hilke, thank you for the 5 legal mindset memberships. Very generous today with the memberships. Thank you. Yes. Okay. This is from the Starkers. Can't wait to see the case dismissed after Fro. What is she like? First of all, who calls her Fro? Like when I hear them call her Fro, it sounds like she's Froyo. Okay. Like I can't not think that she's frozen yogurt, which once again, she's probably consuming. So let's get into this. After Fro files a motion to quash after being improperly served, this dude is such an idiot. He has all of his money and doesn't know what to do with it. So therefore, his quack of a lawyer is just taking it from him. LMAO. This is really funny. Okay, well, first of all, let's correct the record. All lawyers are greedy, money-sucking, soulless quacks. No, they're all crazy in a special way. All lawyers are crazy in a special way. But beyond that, this is procedurally inaccurate and completely wrong. And I'm going to explain how this is just completely wrong. So, first of all, let's explain what a default judgment is. Okay? Explain what a default judgment is. Oh, Mark's Mayhem, by the way, says Soviet mindset, Sig Scuff set. Thank you. Also, where are we at? We're almost to the goal. We're halfway to the goal. So 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10 to scuff for the scuff gods. But anyways, default judgment is a court ruling in favor of the plaintiff, typically because the defendant does not file a defense or the defendant doesn't acknowledge the claim. So, if you just want to stick your head in the sand and pretend you don't know what's going on, you're likely going to get a default judgment. Now, there are certain circumstances in which not receiving service is a real thing. However, in this case, Ethan Klein has multiple methods. He can, obviously have what we call hand deliveries when you're hand serviced, but there's also service by publication. So you can publish it in a newspaper of general circulation, and that can generally get back and serve a service. And beyond that, we all know that Frogan knows about this lawsuit. Like, it's not something that Frogan doesn't know about. It's very public. So it's very clear what's going on here through a judge that Frogan is trying to dodge this. Frogan is trying to evade this, right? And Ethan Klein, through this default judgment, this court ruling in favor of the plaintiff, he would win without Frogan ever having a chance to assert defense. And yes, I did say hand service. I know that people in the chat are just going crazy, but once again, chat, you need to hang in there. You need to hang in there.
Degenerates. You guys degenerates.
Okay, so that's when you hand delivery is when you're just handed it by a process server. The you've been served moment. There's also publication. There's other methods as well that can be substitute types of service. So Frogan, even if she gets this default judgment, so even if the court ends up ultimately siding with Ethan Klein and saying, hey, default judgment. And remember, with a default judgment, that isn't a win for Klein. He gets what he wants. So he'll get damages, whatever else he wants, injunctions, removal of the video, whatever he wants. He's going to get that by default. It's just, hey, well, this person is not fighting back. So, okay. And then he can proceed, if she doesn't do anything, she can proceed to collecting on that judgment at a certain point. However, Frogi Yogi does have a potential opportunity to challenge the default judgment. And she does that with an objection to the default judgment, which is a motion to set aside. So she can make a motion to set aside the default judgment. Now, she does need to have a valid excuse, right? So not receiving the claim could be if the service, all types of service, were invalid. But I guarantee you that at least one type of service that they used on this, whether it was, hand delivery or publication or some sort of substitute service, was legally sufficient to provide notice of service or sufficient service to proceed with the case. They're not going to issue the default judgment typically if there was completely bunk service, but the burden would be on Frogi to prove that. And beyond that, you'd have to have something like illness or extreme emergency. And as far as we know in the Frogan case, Frogan is not in the hospital. Frogan is not under extreme emergency. Frogan was not in a crisis zone, right? She's not somewhere where bad stuff is going down, right? Or she'd have to prove a procedural error, right? However, she has to respond to do this, and that response has to be very prompt and persuasive. So she'd have to do that anyways. So she's going to have to go back, write the court, and explain why she did not respond before, etc. And the judge is not obliged to accept that. The judge can say, I don't accept this. We're still sticking with the default judgment. I had a person that I know in Florida who was litigating a case. That's a friend of mine. He's a litigator, a civil litigator. And he was litigating $1 million case. And there was a company and a person, and the company and the person were both being sued. It was the person's company and themselves, but they didn't respond on behalf of the company. So there was a default judgment granted in terms of the company. Even though the person was the sole owner of that, the court actually upheld the default judgment as to the corporation because it was just too long. It passed and there was no response on behalf of the corporation. So they just said, nope, you know what? We're upholding the default judgment. They did allow them as an individual to fight back. So the court is not necessarily going to say, even if Frogan was to respond and say, oh, I have some good excuse, I've been in a food coma for a month, right? It's not on the judge to say necessarily yes. Now, usually they do. Now, here's the thing. Here's the biggest thing. And here's where the snarkers are completely wrong. This is where the snarkers just are completely stupid. Is even if Frogi objects to the default, and even if the judge grants her motion, if everything goes the same way, you know what the end result is? It's not the case being dropped, kids. It's the case proceeding as normal. So if Frogan goes through all this extra work, all she's going to do is have the case proceed as normal. Literally, somebody in the chat said it. Who said it here? Square one. It's back at square one. Congratulations, Frogan. You literally did nothing. You do all this work for freaking nothing. Wow, Queen. Wow. So smart. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Sigma, right? We're just going crazy here. We're just going crazy. That is the intelligence of a Rancor. I agree. I like Rancors. They're very cute. Legal meme set, late. Hey, and muted. I'm an American man for 5. Not in an American man. That's quite a different story. Men, remember, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Red, green. Hika said for 5. If a default judgment in general happens, can that avoid discovery? If there is a default judgment against Frogan, it will avoid discovery for Frogan. Yes. However, the mods are on all the lawsuits. So no, the mods are screwed. The mods are screwed no matter what. And Denims is screwed. Frogie might avoid it if she goes to default judgment. That's curious. That's interesting. Possible. But what she's not going to avoid is the crippling amount of damages, the life-ruining amount. And the other thing for Frogie is the money. And we're going to talk about that in a second because the money is a huge question. And Ethan brought that up, and I think it's a great question. King Lugia for 5 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much. Luca for 99 says, found your channel semi recently. I love all your videos with audio. You know, where is it? Sorry, I got to play this one.
But go fuck yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob.
Thank you, Luca. Appreciate that. Of course. Roy Danino says, can winning by default create a legal precedent? No, it cannot. So winning by a default judgment is not what's called a judgment on the merits. So it doesn't form sort of the precedent of case law, etc. So that wouldn't ask to Frogan. But guys, remember this. There are 3 separate lawsuits. So it only takes one of them that goes all the way through to create a precedent, right? And it looks like so far Denims seems to be in the lead here in terms of the procedure. So we're going to talk about that one next because Denims, disloyal Denims seems to be taking the win in terms of the legal procedure so far, in terms of the speed and how far it's gotten. So, but let's also talk about the money. The money. So here's our lovely Frogie. And she's got, her legal defense fund at this point at $35K. She also had other donations from other places. So I believe, Ethan's number was around $50K. He's tracking this closer than I am. So let's just assume that it's $50K, but, she's got at least $35K here. But she had this legal defense fund. And my concern is, what about the money? What did you do with the cash, Frogan? What did you do with the cash? You're clearly not spending all that money on your lawsuit. And so the question is, where is that money going, Frogan? Where is that money going, Frogan? Is that going to your muffin budget? Because it's certainly not going into responding to the claims, right? Certainly not going to respond to the claims. And what happens if the funds were diverted to purposes other than the legal defense? That's a possible crime. Theft by deception, false pretenses, fraud. This is a type of fraud. Also wire fraud. So we're talking about potential theft or fraud. Did it go into an IOLTA? That's a very good question. We don't know. And once again, this is speculation. So out there, let me be very clear. It's me speculating. It's a question I'm asking. And I don't know. And we need to know, where's the money, Frogan? What are you doing? The other thing is, if she was misdirecting these funds, she can be fined. There can be restitution, right? Meaning the money is returned to the people that donated. And there can even be prison time. So we need to figure out what's going on with that money. But what I know is that Twilight Dragon 3 is a base Chad who dropped 10 legal mindset memberships. Yes. Give a little
Emotional damage.
Going to be some big snarker emotional damage today. Thank you. The Real Grim Shady for 20 Canadians has just got here. Too busy playing Warframe, missed a notification. If one of the cases became case law before the other 2 concluded, would it cause those 2 other lawsuits to be applicable to the case law? Very interesting. technically possible, but in reality, the judges can rule the way they rule. And in reality, with especially cases involving copyright infringement, and they're going to assert the fair use defense, right? Two different judges in two different cases can rule very differently. Fair use tends to be case by case basis and case by case analysis. Although the facts are very similar, they can look at the individual way that they covered that and the individual way that they responded, and they may or may not rule in one way. They may say, hey, look, Denims had enough commentary. Or they may say, you know what, Denims didn't have enough commentary, but Frogan did. We don't know. They could say Casey Tron was high enough to meet the bar versus Denims, right? We don't know. So it's possible, once again, that one of them or two of them could be, held liable and one of them might get off. It's possible. Once again, I'm not saying that this is a 100% win for Ethan Klein. What I'm saying is it looks really bad for the three Hassan orbiters. It is bad in the gravity of Mr. Piker. Patrick S for 10 says she edited her GoFundMe and added and other expenses with that subby fraud. So I'm going to read what the language is. Okay. I'm going to read what the language is. So last night, this was the language last night. Tell me if she changed this language, because I highlighted this, and this is what was up last night, as of last night. Okay. So after 2 years of target harassment campaign against me, Ethan Klein has now escalated it into suing me for reacting to his video on Hassan and myself on his video titled Content Nuke Hassan Piker. This fundraiser to cover any and all legal fees associated with this complaint and any counterclaims I have against them. So stop there. So far, as far as we know, she has not paid any legal fees, and she definitely hasn't filed any counterclaims. So as to these two, they're wrong. Now, here's the part where we might get into some debate. This next part, the part I underlined. She puts any other bills and personal expenses. So she's going to argue, oh, I can put food under that. I can put makeup under that because I need to look pretty for litigation. I can do all this sort of stuff. That's a personal expense. I can pay for like 22 layers of cover up, right? Under personal expense, because that's a personal expense. But the problem is, and then the rest of the language, from lost wages and damages arising from this litigation. Well, the question is, when you have arising from, if you're not participating in the litigation, if you are not fighting back, there's no litigation to speak of. Therefore, it's not arising from the litigation. So despite the fact that personal expenses is here, and that might be valid, it's in connection with the litigation. It's not personal expenses for her to go on a personal trip, right? Or her to go buy a sandwich or whatever, Chipotle. It's not for any of that. Okay. So that is a situation where she may have some trouble. Bretman's disciple said, Froga the Hutt is hiding in her spice mines. Robert Von Beek says, contribution for the mute button replacement. I don't know how I scuffed that one that bad. It was only 3 a.m., guys. I swear. It was only 3 a.m. Bob for 2 Oz says 35,000 on the GoFundMe and can buy 6616 Big Macs. That's a lot of fun. That's a lot of Big Macs, guys. That's a lot of Big Macs. That is a solid amount of Big Macs. Oh, wow. Okay. So that's for Frogie. I do think it looks like she's on the path to default judgment. So I have no doubt that she's going to hit default judgment at some point in this, because that's where it seems it's going. I mean, if she hasn't responded this far, I don't know why she's delaying. I mean, there's not going to be some sort of bombshell that is going to, going to protect her. So I don't know. And if she isn't trying to settle, because we see from Ethan Klein in his videos that they haven't reached out to settle. If they had reached out to settle, he would have mentioned it, or he would have brought it up, or whatever else. There's no point in kind of concealing that, because obviously that would be clear and disclosed. Just saying, hey, yeah, they reached out, or hey, they're negotiating, or hey, etc. Right? That seemingly would be out there, and we don't have that yet. and we have him closing the window for clemency, on my boxing scheme, right? Or any other creative scheme to settle, which once again, go out there, do something creative, Frogan. A dance battle, like a rap battle. Like, why don't you rap battle Ethan, right? I'm saying whatever. Come up with something really creative, and maybe he would bite. Maybe he would bite. She's not even trying. She's not even trying. She's going to declare herself a sovereign citizen? No, that's not going to work. Sorry, guys. I hate to break it to you, but sovereign citizen doesn't work. All right. So since you guys preferred Frogie over Denims. Oh, and by the way, thank you for everybody wishes me a happy birthday. We're doing my birthday stream tomorrow. Or is it tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow night for me. So Asia time, evening, Sunday, which is morning in the US. Europe, I don't know about you guys. You're just weird. But anyways, we'll be doing that tomorrow. It'll be fun. We'll be playing some reaction clips that other people had that I haven't had time to watch, playing some fun stuff. Maybe I'll see who's around. If I can invite one or two people on, I'll invite some friends over and just have a good time and just hang out. So that's tomorrow. All right. So let's get into Denims. Let's go deep on Denims. Okay. Even though she's disloyal. Okay. Oh, Lumicia said, hey, a fellow Leo. That's right. Okay. This is off of Court Listener right here. Oh, and other Paul says, forgive me if this is a bit meta, but what is the actual normative or epistemological, ooh, that's a nice word, utility of legal precedent? As far as I know, judges can contravene it. So is it really just per adult peer pressure? Okay. Wow. This is a good question. And it's also epistemological. I haven't heard that since I was studying for seminary when I was almost pastor mindset. That was almost pastor mindset. It was this close to pastor mindset. What really convinced me not to pastor mindset was Hebrew. I had to learn Hebrew and Greek. And I'm good with like dabbling, but those are serious languages, right? But anyways, okay. Precedent or stare decisis. You're exactly right. Some judges respect it. Go talk to Judge Thomas on the Supreme Court about, precedent. Right? Some judges really respect it. Some judges literally do not care, and they will do whatever the hell they want to do. So is it necessarily something that is a handcuffs? No. However, enough judges respect precedent that even if a lower judge is like, you know what? I'm going to do what I want. Guess what happens? They appeal that, and the higher court turns them down. And because judges as a whole tend to respect legal precedent because it establishes the authority of the judiciary, and they want you to respect their authority, and they don't like being overturned. Judges, the number one thing a judge does not like to do is be overturned, except for some very, very crazy political judges. I'm not getting into this. We're not talking politics here, but there are certain judges that are insanely political and by the way, I'll be very fair. There are judges that are very political on the right and left that exist, right? There are places where you can forum shop to go one way or another. However, other than those people, which thankfully I do believe are in the minority in the United States, majority of judges respect precedent, and they like you, even if you make a new law or you change it, to do it with respect to precedent. So to use the precedent to make the new law, to say, okay, the spirit of the previous case was saying this, so we're changing it, but that's in line with the spirit of what they were saying, right? The principles behind what they were saying. 9 out of 10 judges recommend it. That's right. Very good question. Other Paul, very good. Very deep super. I like supers that are deep. Thank you. Okay. Here is this discovery matter. It's an order granting a stipulation for the plaintiff, that's Ethan Klein, he's TED Entertainment, to serve third-party subpoenas prior to Rule 26F conference. So this is literally, remember, as a reminder, disloyal Denims literally betrayed the Reddit mods. She stabbed them in the back. She refused to defend them at all. She completely sacrificed them to the corn. in order to get this moving along, right? And she gave up all of their information. She said, you know what? You can subpoena them. You can get all their information. That's Denims. That's the type of girl she is. Once again, this is why these people are going to fold like a sack of cards. They have no loyalty for each other. They don't care for each other at all. All of this, we're one big community. We're one big proletariat. That falls apart. That falls apart immediately when push comes to shove. They're pushing each other in front of the firing squad, right? They're pushing each other in front of the firing squad. And we see this with Denims right now. Completely under the bus. Upon consideration of the joint stimulation. Oh, jeez. Oh, gosh. Okay, where is it? We got to play that.
No. Wait.
Okay. All right. Denims and Ethan Klein, joint stimulation. Yes, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. This is why I don't stream in the morning, kids. Don't stream in the morning, kids. You're gonna get clipped out of context. Okay. One more time, buddy. Upon consideration of the joint stipulation, granting plaintiff leave to serve third-party subpoenas prior to the Rule 26F conference of plaintiff Ted X Entertainment, ZF Inc., and defendant Alexandra Marwa Saber, PK Denims, Dirty Denims. And for good cause shown, the court hereby rules as follows. The stipulation is granted. Okay? They're not granting any stimulation. Okay? Let's be clear. No stimulation was granted today. Nobody was stimulated by this. Okay, maybe Ethan Klein was a little stimulated. We're gonna watch it right here. He seems a little stimulated. Okay, but not officially, legally, it was only a stipulation. Okay? TEI, that's Ethan Klein, may immediately serve the subpoena attached as Exhibit A to the stipulation on the third-party Reddit, that's so Reddit in general, accompanied by this order, and shall include the date of the Reddit subpoena. It was issued in the date of compliance, and they may also serve subpoena on Discord. Granted by Wesley L. Hugh, Sue, maybe, United States District Judge, July 31st. So the point of the matter here is that we have a official subpoena of Discord and Reddit. And Discord and Reddit, I'm telling you right now, and I know this, I have friends that are civil litigators, I've seen this in other cases that we've studied, etc. Discord and Reddit are going to turn over all the data. They do not care. They have no dog in the fight to defend these people. None. Zero. They do not care. They do not want to fight want to go into a huge legal battle over fighting the disclosure of information. They're just going to do it. They're going to roll over and do it. And then Ethan Klein has something to say about this. Before we get into that, Maya, welcome as a new member. Rooster said, happy birthday to you. Have a great weekend. Thank you. Kid Loco said, too late now. Gonna sleep, work early. Okay, that's fine. Ethan Klein, legally stimulated for 6 Malaysian ringgit, King Lugia. Yes, I think we're going to see. He seems pretty stimulated to me. Man, not maybe just my personal opinion. But, just saying. Let's see here. Mini Maria, hey, for 20 Swedish krona. Says, happy birthday from Sweden. We are a bit weird. I love weird people, but all my Swedish friends are really cool. In fact, one of the first people that recommended I go to Thailand a long time ago, and I had all sorts of stereotypes and stuff like that about it. And she was a Swedish girl who's couch surfing with me in Orlando. And she's like, no, it's really awesome. It's great. It's like super chill. The beaches are amazing. Like the diving is great because I did diving. And yeah, they're super cool. And because of that, I checked it out after it opened after COVID and love it here. And I'll be here as long as I can be here. So yeah, so cool. Shout out to my Swedes. Trone from New Zealand for 2. Happy stimulation. Okay, let's watch Ethan Klein get stimulated. Okay, let's watch this. Here we go.
But then also, because some of your cohorts leaked your Discord messages to us, we have some of your Discord IDs. And guess what? We're gonna if anyone's gonna have your real identity, it's gonna be right there. We're gonna have
that's it. Hold on, let's play it one more time.
Messages to us. We have some of your Discord IDs. And guess what? We're gonna if anyone's gonna have your real identity, it's gonna be right there. We're gonna have all your messages
Discord.
And listen, don't try to erase them. If you erase them now, it's not going to look good.
You guys remember that? You guys remember what that is? Pull in the chat. See if you're not. What is it when you delete stuff when there's a subpoena? Chat. Let's see. Are you paying attention to this? I taught you this, class. What is it when you delete stuff that the court is looking for? Firefox user wins it. The guy, Firefox user, is the kid in the front of the class, followed by blank boot. Now, obstruction, it can be obstruction, but spoliation of evidence. That is exactly right. You guys in the class paying attention, even getting it before Danielle. And Danielle is really sitting in the front of the class. She's really sitting in the front of the class. Beating Danielle, that's pretty epic. It's pretty epic. But shout out to Danielle and all my awesome mods, JP Ravenfire as well. They do a great job. Keegan Luigi said, but have you been stimulated by the legalism? Revin says, hey, Legal Mindset, happy birthday, but thank you. I am so old. 39 feels so old. Chronically Mayhem says, Feliz Cumpleaños, stay safe and sexy. I mean, happy. Always. So let's continue. Let's play the rest of this.
And you should know that I'll still get them even if you erase them. Because the companies hold.
Yeah, they don't really delete that stuff.
Yeah, and that, and so I'm getting it, So you can erase, you can run, you can cry, you can piss, you can bitch, but I'm coming. And you're about to find out when you fuck what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass.
There it is.
We got to pull that sound.
I'm glad that is at the end of the stream here, because that is something that probably would get us demonetized if it was in the beginning. So I did intentionally save this as the very last clip I was going to play today, because F in the A is not something you want to just drop when the kids are watching. Kids, don't use bad language. Grandpa Tozy cries every time you use bad language.
Okay, I will gladly do that.
Great scene.
But then also,
so the point is that even if they delete it, it's not going to matter. And as somebody said, who said this on Joe Schmo on Local, said kids today have no concept of OPSEC. You are exactly right. People are out there on Discord and Reddit just feeling themselves and saying things and giving away information without any protection, without any, encryption, coding, whatever. They're just saying things freely that they really shouldn't be saying at all. And they should be way more careful about. So yeah, no, I guarantee you there's so much information in that. And I guarantee the things that they said in that are probably very, 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 very damning. Very damning. Ashala, as a new member, welcome. Is it spelled spoliation instead of spoliation instead of spoliation? I believe. I may have misspelled it when I put it, but yes, it's SPOLIATION. SPOL. Yes, correct. Spol, not spoil. Spoliation. Yes. So with no I. But if you got it close, teacher mindset is forgiving. Teacher mindset is forgiving. I want you to get close enough, all right? We're learning together. And we're coping together, guys. So listen, guys, that's what I have for today. I'm going to stay on top of this lawsuit, of course, as always. And I'll be back streaming with you as much as I can on this. Let me get this last one. Ian Sanchez says for 5, if the subpoena shows Hassan or Twitch staff being involved somehow, would Ethan or the other creators be able to use Dazoo? Yes. They could if they were involved. Yes. Hassan could be brought into this. Yes. If he is involved in it. Yes, he could. The big Papa Piker could be brought into this. Lumis says, happy birthday, by the way. Thank you. iCrack says, ain't much, but have a cold one on your birthday. I will. Tonight, I am going to be pretty lit. So it's going to be a good one. All my friends are coming. My family's coming. My big party's tonight because it's Saturday. My actual birthday is during the week. Next week, I have some more quiet stuff during the week, but weekend is the crazy time. So we're going to get crazy tonight. Thank you so much, guys. Smash the like button. I'll see you tomorrow when I'm nice and hungover. Until then, do what the Hassan orbiters are doing and stay.
You are coping the ceiling. You just can't believe what you're seeing. It's you coping the ceiling. The truth it is all day, and now you are more.